Smart 24, driving business.
A very good morning to you watching. This is Smart Minutes Business here in Smart 24 TV. We drive your business every day from Monday to Friday. And of course, my name is Masika Tsime, all the way 2 minutes past 7 a.m. Today is the very last day of the month of February. So, what have you done for yourself in this very month of February? You can assess yourself personally, in your business, in your organization. How far have you gone this month, and how much are you prepared for the coming month, come tomorrow? Well, today we're going to dive deep into the impact of industrialization in Uganda and how far we have actually progressed when it comes to industrialization in Uganda. And industrialization is one of the keys that the government of Uganda is sustaining high rates and economic growth for job creation and shared prosperity. And of course, we've seen it in the National Development Plan 2 and 3. And of course, as we push harder to eradicate poverty in our country, Uganda. And of course, you may be asking yourself, what does this have on us as citizens of Uganda, on the social impact? How is this impacting industrialization on our very own communities? Well, of course, with the emerging of the different sectors in manufacturing, textile, I mean, there are very many, quite a lot that we can talk about when it comes to industrialization, because it's a whole big sector. So it's divided into very many. But of course, we see over time jobs have been created, and of course, this very year we're expecting 2 million jobs to be created for those that are into to eradicate poverty. Actually, that is one of the main reasons as to why all these jobs, 2 million jobs, up for grabs. And of course, recently I saw, it may not be into industrialization, but I saw NERA actually had placements for 10,000 people. 10,000 people for those that are ready, to push for industrialization for development actually in our country, Uganda. So, away from job creation, industries generate new employment for opportunities, and of course, potentially lifting individuals and communities out of poverty through increasing their income and providing standards of living, and of course, under great access to essential goods and services. Well, of course, there can't be an industry or a manufacturing plant can't come in, and of course, at the end of the day, they need employees. So, how this could be an opportunity for you to tap into this very opportunity that industrialization brings to you. Well, it's a good morning, and I'm joined with Andrew. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Mercy.
Yes. How is your last day? Today is the last day of February. Are you aware of it?
Very aware. 29th, but like I normally say, it's always a challenge to get realized that it's a new phase. And how far have you gone when it comes to realigning your life to where you expect it to be? Well, heading into the topic of the day today, the industrialization bit of it, there is an argument that is happening of late, because we know that as one of the ways for Uganda to get into the middle income, the middle class country, there is need for industrialization. But some economists believe that industrialization is not the game changer for Uganda. Reason being, of course, they talk about the heavy investment that is involved, whereby, for example, like today, we shall be taking a look at the Uganda Development Corporation and its role in industrialization. And you will get to realize that some of the challenges that they face is investment. Relying on the state coffers, it's not reliable. So it shows you, because it's a capital intensive industry. And believing in that, and we also look at the fact that these industries, like you mentioned, the 2 million industries, because last year it was about 1 million industries, and what is the salary that these industries actually give to their workers as one of the ways to increase their purchasing power, because these are the very people that run the economy. Once they empowered economically, then it's very possible for them to really have enough on them to save. They can easily save and for investment. But the question is it really the game changer when it comes to pushing this country's economic growth and development? Of course, we've seen in the past, we've tried to, if you assess from where we started, coming in from all the 1980s, where we had private entities, government entities privatized, and that in some kind of a way, we've seen, of course, it has registered some economic growth and development, but however, it has also led to imbalance when it comes to distribution of the incomes. So the industrialization bit of it, why is it this way? Because you get to find that most of these industries are actually probably maybe largely foreign dominated, and when it comes to the locals to participate into this space, it's quite very hard for them, which makes it a hard venture for Ugandans if we are to talk about getting people out of poverty. In the employment bit of it, that even those that manage to get these jobs, they're exploited massively. So, and if you exploit it's more like they're exploited beyond their capacity. And that frustrates their possible service that they would offer in other sectors within the economy. It could be them establishing their own investments. So all that, due to this massive kind of exploitation, it's all wasted, and productivity is lost.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, it's not about employment at the end of the day. It's about how much someone earns out of it. As much as you exploit them, are you exploiting them and paying them as much as you are using them on a daily basis? And of course, even the basics that we need, sometimes you find they do not have. Let's take, for instance, people in the mining industry. Some of them don't have protective gear. They're at risk. I mean, you have to be paid for risk.
Yeah, the risk bit of it. Yeah.
You have to be paid for risk. For risk, however much. Still, for communities, we've seen infrastructure development. Where industries, manufacturing plants are. There's a little bit of infrastructure development. Infrastructure,
hospitals are established, schools are established, because these workers need to educate their children. They shouldn't leave the far end and coming to a city to get the basics. So shops, generally, the entire aspect of, you see, real estate and industrialization move so hand in hand that if you're establishing these settlements of people, you in a way you're forced to establish a center where they can transact business. Now that comes into establishing land for development, and that's where you put the industrialization bit of it. Actually, it comes in more as the last stage when it comes to development of an area, such that the people within the area, the money supply can stay within the area. Actually, that's what we call actual growth. Because, Mercy, it doesn't make sense for you to have money, and when you assess, probably if you to assess your assets, for example, your business, most of the assets or most of your capital, it's actually just it's important. So what does that mean? That means you're putting you're putting the money outside of the country. In other words, if you're, for example, if it be trucks, you have 10 trucks, and that's your capital. Those are your capital goods. You're just importing them. What does that mean? The money is going to Germany. It's going to China. So the money, which probably, if I had a shop somewhere, if imagine this money was going to somebody within the country. For example, if there was a manufacturing center where these trucks are, I can provide this money to them. That means the owner of that is able to acquire money and buy my merchandise from the shop. But now we are spreading money out, but then the people whom we expect to support our businesses, we are not supporting them in some kind of way. So where are they going to have money to buy our products? So this is what I'm talking about. When we have these industries established in a place, they facilitate economic growth and development, whereby there is circulation of money within that community. That's how communities actually prosper. When there is that whole flow of money. So it makes it quite incredible. And we've seen also the aspect of, because the industrialization, one of the key major aspects that have been looked into is in line with import substitution. Because some of the raw materials that we actually use to manufacture within are imported. And one of the goals of the industrialization goals for coming 2024 is to ensure that we establish industries which can actually make the raw materials that we've been importing because that has also led to inflation in some, the imported inflation, coming in a way, despite the fact that there is this aspect of the inflation driven by fuel prices, but now you've also added on
raw materials.
Yes, on the raw materials. So all this is quite very incredible. And also the capitalization of UDB, the Uganda Development Bank, of 1.5 trillion is also likely to play a critical role, most especially when it comes to people that have the ideas and you need the capital to actually exploit them. That is quite a very wonderful aspect there. And also the fact that 2024, the industry sector is actually targeting to create about 4 million jobs. Come 2023, it was about 2 million jobs, but come this year, they're targeting all this. But
4 million jobs.
Yeah, 4 million jobs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So far, I think they've established some hubs, some
industry hubs,
some factories that are going to actually be able to employ a number of youth, because I believe most of them are going to be youth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we are giving our employees money to survive, money to save and invest for later.
Yes.
I don't think, if you made enough research, I don't think it's enough for them to sustain themselves even for the future. For the future. So what does that leave? What does that depict of Uganda? We are living in survival mode.
Yeah, survival mode.
You may save, at the end of the day, you find yourself, tapping into your savings.
Yeah, it's very typical in developing countries. But of course, that comes a lot with a number of underlying factors. One is because we don't have anything that we produce. Production is a key factor when it comes to growing economies. I understand that we are discussing about service sector, but even the service sector to thrive, the production has to be on point, because if the goods and services are produced, that means people that are willing to offer distribution services, the transportation services, some are going to be developing ICT solutions to ensure that these products are actually displayed for like in some kind of marketing, digital marketing. So all these services are thriving because there is a product that is being manufactured, and we haven't yet established that. And why is because a biggest percentage of still of the production industry is not owned by locals. And an economy to really thrive, it has to be in the hands of the citizens, the locals. And for that to succeed, there needs to be really sound economic policies. Like Mauritius is one of the countries we can really benchmark on, because traditionally, as a country, it was surviving on sugarcane growing, sugar, but that wasn't sustainable until they had to attract foreign direct investment. And that has led to why we see Mauritius today, even when it comes to capital markets, it has the most well-established capital markets on the continent of Africa. But there are sound economic policies which are obeyed, unlike here, Anyway, that brings us to the end of this discussion, exactly 16 minutes past 7. Let's switch and take a look at what's making headlines into the press. Well, as we kick start off with a new vision, Master Katana will be taking us through what is happening to the Daily Monitor. But just to brief, Kony victims, this is from the International Criminal Court. Kony victims awarded 220 billion Ugandan shillings. This is when you grab yourself a copy, you will get to find out what is this money for, and what is this compensation going to be really for. And now the National Resistance Movement to screen the new members as President Museveni launches update of the party register. Yes, you'll still find that out as you grab yourself a copy of the new vision. Now the City Hotel faces closure over noise. Yes, so this is something in court. You get to grab yourself and find out. And now Professor Sachs was in Uganda, and of course he's been advising the country on how to really quicken its development initiatives. He says, actually here they say that Professor Sachs' strategy to spur Uganda's economic growth. And Professor Bukenya named presidential advisor on quite some matters. You remember the former vice president of Uganda, and measles, hundreds of children admitted an outbreak. Now, this is a huge health cost burden in that way. Yes, what is making headlines in the Monitor?
The Monitor, 590 billion shillings down the drain in the Luwa Hospital project, and of course revelations here that the taxpayer has so far sunk 500 billion shillings in the expected Luwa super specialized hospital, yet nothing seems to be lifting off the ground. As you can see the picture right here, it's just nothing. Just no foundation, it's just not getting off, and I've invested heavily into this hospital, so they have to probe what is really happening.
What is really happening?
Why isn't it leaving this ground level to them? And of course, I'm seeing here 1.4 trillion. This is in for Finance Limited. A contractor was supposed to complete the construction of the 1.4 trillion 260 bed facility 3 years ago.
Okay.
In June 2021.
June 2021.
Is this? I don't think it's Ugandan. I don't think it's Ugandan.
Amazing. Yeah.
Quite interesting how such things. 1.4 trillion. Did they not pay them?
It's quite hard to tell.
It's quite hard to tell. So if you get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor, you'll get to
get the details.
The depth on where your taxpayer money is here.
Absolutely. And of course, seeing here about the manufacturers, traders oppose the alcohol control bill. Yes, so the manufacturers have actually warned here lawmakers against enacting stringent alcohol laws.
That, you see, I feel like when it comes to that, they're right, because we have a lot of misuse of the drug.
Alcohol.
Yeah, misuse of drugs. I mean, kids are now taking up alcohol at the age of 16 because it's accessible. I can go and be like, you know what, my father sent me for 1.7 and go and take it.
Yeah, to some degree, this
and
can.
In the bus, there is nothing like, entrance, national ID.
How old are you?
How old are you? Because even kids, the bodies are really confusing. You can't tell.
They grow too fast, and you think he's 20 and he's 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Very true. That is in line with that. But let us see how that really goes. Whenever I hear about alcohol, it just reminds me of the Zanzibar saga, that how a shortage of alcohol literally impacted sector's revenue. I mean, we're talking about tourism.
Yeah.
They
actually paved way for them. Those that were importing. They're now starting. It has resumed. Now back.
So
you can go and because let me tell you where there is alcohol, there is total celebration and happiness. I think that is why Saudi Arabia took it on. Because, I mean, you can imagine, because people are from all over
different countries, and that's the first thing they love to when they settle. I mean, we're talking about tourists, so you control alcohol, you affect them, and if they hear that they are stringent these laws against alcohol, it can also kind of paint a picture for them for the where they are heading, the country they're heading in. All right, now, Professor Jeffrey Sachs, like we saw something as upward, actually, a 4-point strategy to spur Uganda's economic growth and the development. So now the question is, who is Professor Sachs? Now, he's widely recognized for his bold stance in addressing global challenges, talking about including date, and Sachs is celebrated in more than 150 countries. You see, we've been talking about having a date button, and he says, let's borrow more money, but let's get loans that are long term, which are paid for over a long period of time. Because where Uganda is standing currently, he believes, this is not my opinion. He says, where we stand as a country, Uganda, we have no option, but we have to borrow. But just on negotiated terms. You know.
Of course, right about now, that's it for the press, because we are going to see what is happening in the traffic.
Well, that looks fairway. Like fairway, right?
Yes, fairway.
Okay, that's fairway, and I'm observing the use of Lule route.
Today it's a Thursday. Day. Oh wow, it's a little bit of traffic right there.
Yeah, I'm seeing, but it's not really.
It's moving.
It's quite in motion. Okay, what's going to give you the answer is, let's take a look at the route, which slopes down to the Kololo golf course. The golf course down there, because that is also one of the routes that have a huge traffic, or a huge lane of traffic. But I think it's in motion. It's not really as much of a congestion as that. And Thursdays normally calm day in the morning. Thursdays and Friday. Yeah, but the evening time, that's when probably when the Monday, Tuesday, and sometimes Wednesday are part of the hardest days in the morning hours when the week is just beginning. Of course, that is attributed to quite a number of various reasons why that really happens. Yes, seeing vehicles still coming in from probably some are linked up from Garden City, coming towards, they're heading towards probably Wandaga, and the majority of them are going to pass via the Seziwa route or the Kapu Road, the Kapu Road, which links you straight, that is to Wandaga, if you don't want to be caught up with the Mulago jam that way. So it's entirely the traffic officers in control over the vehicles, but it's moderately okay. It's not, I mean, you just have to be patient for about 5 to 7 minutes of jam. And I'm seeing quite a huge fleet coming in down from the John Babiha route. Like I mentioned, it will be the route that will give us the standing of what the situation is like. And I'm seeing a number of them. And this links up all the way to Acacia Mall, down to Kanjicha Street, Bokoto Street, and the Kamocha roundabout shortly there. So if you're coming in from those areas and you're planning to get out through the John Babiha route to maybe probably link up to the city center or any other destinations, I feel like you might be a little bit delayed, because I feel that line is stretching all the way down there. And that very route, the John Babiha route, is highly inflated with the traffic lights. It has quite a number of traffic lights, so it explains why we see those number of huge vehicles, and a number of them are actually private vehicles. Just a few public using that route. Like I mentioned, they link up to those areas which we consider bits of up-down areas for those people that can actually own their own vehicles. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the traffic report this morning. That is the situation right there. It's moderately congested, 5 to 7 minutes, or the maximum could be 10 minutes of delay in jam before you reach your final destination. Well, Smart Means Business takes a break, and of course, returning with Karibu East Africa and the international updates. Stick around.